In the 1950s, when Kenneth Arnold saw a group of craft skipping across the sky like a rock would skip across water, the term flying saucer was born, even though what Kenneth saw were crescent-shaped and not saucers. Rather than using this silly newspaper reference, flying saucers, the government used an acronym, UFO, or Unidentified Flying Object. It was the professional way of saying flying saucer. That term leaked, and soon the media and the general public began using it. So somewhere along the way, the government subtly changed their acronym. Flying saucers became UAPs, or Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, and a new era of investigation began. In the world of UFO research, terminology is important. If you do a Freedom of Information Act request, what you ask for is what you get, and only what you get. So the government periodically changes their acronyms to better hide information from the public. Today, if you ask for UFO information, you'll get articles and media information about UFOs, a term the government no longer uses. No one knew the government had changed the acronym, therefore no one was looking for the new term UAPs. Since the 1940s, the U.S. government has had several programs to study the UFO issue. Often the departments that do the studies change and shift around, and often they are tasked to different branches of the government. For years, UFO researchers looked to the Air Force for answers. After all, these things were being seen in the skies. It was something of a surprise when they discovered that the Navy, not the Air Force, had projects that examined UFO reports. Navy pilots were reporting UFO encounters at an alarming rate, so the Pentagon took action. Initiated by then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program was formed to study unexplained aerial phenomena. At the urge of Reid's friend, Nevada billionaire and governmental contractor Robert Bigelow, and with support from the late Senators Ted Stevens and Daniel Uni. The program began in the DIA in 2007 and was budgeted $22 million over its 5 years of operation. The United States Air Force facility, known as Area 51, is located in Reid's home state of Nevada. After the revived interest in the 1970s surrounding the crash that often is referred to as the 1947 Roswell incident, Area 51 was rumored by ufologists and conspiracy theorists to be the U.S. government's storage location for the crashed alien craft for study. A June 24, 2009 letter from Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid to Deputy Secretary of Defense William Lynn referred to the Advanced Aerospace Threat and Identification Program. When interviewed in the aftermath of publicity surrounding ATIP, Reid expressed pride in his accomplishments and was quoted as saying, "I think it's one of the good things I did in my congressional service. I've done something that no one has done before." Reid explained the reasoning behind his sponsorship of the program by saying, "I'm interested in science and in helping the American public understand what the hell is going on," and stated that hundreds and hundreds of papers have been available since the program was completed, and that most of all, 80% at least, is public, adding, "I wanted it public. It was made public. and you guys have not even looked at it. A 2009 letter by Reid was published by KLAS-TV investigative journalists George Knapp and Matt Adams, where the senator states that ATIP has made much progress with the identification of several highly sensitive, unconventional aerospace-related findings that will likely lead to technology advancements, and recommends the creation of a special access program for specific parts of ATIP. Then on July 23, 2020, the New York Times reported that while former Senator Harry Reid believed that crashes of objects of unknown origin may have occurred and that retrieved materials should be studied, he did not say that crashes had occurred and that retrieved materials had been studied secretly for decades. News reports also repeated a claim made by Eric W. Davis that an off-world vehicle might be in the possession of the U.S. government. With ATIP, the new moniker UAP was now in the public domain. The revelation that indeed the Pentagon had been running a UFO program as far back as 2007 at least was a huge validation for the ufology community. For decades, ufologists had been saying there were secret programs, often finding tidbits of information about them through whistleblowers and other leaks from the government. Now they knew at least some of those leaks had been true. We still don't know how many other programs may have existed prior to 2007. The government has not acknowledged any of them. Other than the now famous Project Blue Book, the government claims there are no others. However, they claimed ATIP didn't exist until it was revealed in 2017. In 2020, the Pentagon finally acknowledged the existence of another program similar to ATIP called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. The unclassified but previously unacknowledged program was made public during a June 2020 hearing of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. The program has been given classified briefings to congressional committees and aerospace executives for over a decade. Former Senator Reid stated in reference to the successor program, "It is extremely important that information about the discovery of physical materials or retrieved craft come out." While the Defense Department stated that ATIP was terminated in 2012 after acknowledgement of the program in 2017, the exact status of ATIP and its alleged termination remain unclear. Luis Elizondo, the man that ran the ATIP program, claimed that while the efforts government funded ended in 2012, the program continued with support from Navy and CIA officials even after his resignation. Reports in 2020 confirmed Elizondo's statement, along with reporting the existence of the U.S. government's successor to ATIP. Among the information that has been released by the program are several short videos of military jets encountering something they couldn't identify. The release of those videos were part of a campaign by Luis Elizondo, now working for the To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, who said that he wanted to shed light on the program. The Navy confirmed the authenticity of the videos, stating only that they depict what they consider to be unidentified aerial phenomena. Susan Goh, a Pentagon spokeswoman, confirmed the 3 videos were made by naval aviators and that they are part of a larger issue of an increased number of training range incursions by unidentified aerial phenomena in recent years. Then on August 4th of 2020, Deputy Secretary of Defense David L. Norquist approved the establishment of an Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. The Department of Navy, under the cognizance of the Office of Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, leads the UAPTF. The Department of Defense established the UAPTF to improve its understanding of and gain insight into the nature and origins of UAPs. The mission of the task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security. As DoD has stated previously, the safety of our personnel and the security of our operations are of paramount concern. The Department of Defense and the military departments take any incursions by unauthorized aircraft into our training ranges or designated airspace very seriously, and they examine each report. This includes examinations of incursions that are initially reported as UAPs, when the observer cannot immediately identify what he or she is observing. On June 25th of 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a report on UAPs, commonly known as the Pentagon UFO Report. The report found that the UAPTF was unable to identify 143 objects spotted between 2004 and 2021. The report said that 18 of these featured unusual movement patterns or flight characteristics, and that more analysis was needed to determine if those sightings represented breakthrough technology. The report said that some of these steps are resource intensive and would require additional investment. The report did not link the sightings to extraterrestrial life, with officials saying, "We have no clear indications that there is any non-terrestrial explanation for them, but we will go wherever the data takes us." In what appears to be a complete 180-degree turn, the government appears now to be open to the idea that the UAPs could be extraterrestrial. That in itself is a phenomenal change in public policy. Unlike Project Blue Book in the 60s, the program does not appear to be a public entity designed to whitewash the subject and play it down. This program is focused on the threat UAPs may or may not represent, and the Navy takes this threat seriously. These programs so far have not entertained the notion that UAPs may be alien, though they admit the flight characteristics of many reported sightings defy any human-made propulsion or lift technology we use. There are no wings, no exhaust, no heat dissipation. They maneuver in ways that would kill a human pilot and fly with no jets, propellers, or any known method of propulsion, and at speeds we cannot achieve. Plus, they do not create a sonic boom when they exceed the speed of sound. At the moment, the task force is looking at this phenomenon as some new type of drone made by one of our adversary nations. If that is the case, then whoever is manufacturing and operating these craft have made advancements light years ahead of the United States. The list of countries that could be capable of creating some advanced aircraft is short. China and Russia are the top contenders. Russia has a long history of stealing and copying our technological advancements. They copied the design plans for our space shuttle and briefly started a shuttle program of their own in the 1980s. China is a very closed society and has made breakthroughs of their own in military jet designs, some exceeding our current fighter jet styles. However, neither nation, including ourselves, appear to be capable of manufacturing a craft that has the abilities of UAPs and that can operate in the air, oceans, and space. When a conventional jet is airborne and moving at high speeds, they cannot turn abruptly due to gravity. When the craft shifts directions, the pilot inside must be able to shift as well. This is called the G-force. It's the action of gravity on the aircraft. Pilots often black out or faint when they attempt to turn quickly. If they try to climb too fast or maneuver abruptly, it can even kill them. So far, we have never been able to design a system that counteracts this force. UAPs appear to be able to fly, turn, and climb with no adverse G-forces on the aircraft. They appear to be able to negate friction on the craft, and they do not create a sonic boom at high speeds. Propeller-driven aircraft cannot exceed the speed of sound. Jets and rocket-propelled craft can, but as they move through the air, the friction on the body of the craft will create an envelope of compressed air forward of the craft and will burst when the craft moves beyond the speed of sound. This is the sonic boom heard when that happens. UAPs appear to have some kind of technology that can avoid these issues, allowing them to fly with no resistance and outmaneuver our aircraft with ease. In science fiction, this technology is called inertial dampeners. It softens the blow of sudden changes at high speed on the human occupants of the craft. But this technology does not exist yet, and as far as we know, it cannot exist. Also in science fiction, spacecraft have shields, a kind of bubble around the ship that protects it from fast-moving objects and resists atmospheric pressure on the ship. This allows them to move rapidly through space or the air without resistance or creating a sonic boom. But again, this technology is fiction, and no nation on Earth has achieved any kind of shielding technology so far. If our jets had shields and inertial dampeners, then no missile could harm them, and they could maneuver like UAPs. We simply don't have these technologies yet. However, a more advanced alien race may have been able to invent these systems. If so, then the answer to what UAPs are is easily explained. New technologies are invented and applied every day. However, most of our human advancements involve taking existing technologies and applying them to new and different fields. Miniaturization occurs too, taking existing technologies and making them smaller and more compact. The cell phone is a good example. Making the mobile phone something you could carry in your pocket started in the 1980s when bulky mobile phones were introduced to the public. Since then, they have gotten smaller and more technology has been applied to them, such as cameras, apps, and GPS. All these technologies previously existed, but now we have them all in one device. They say necessity is the mother of invention, and as our own space program grows, new technologies emerge, as well as old technologies applied in new and different ways. This is due to the way we think of technology. If we need something, we either invent a way to make it happen or apply an existing technology to solve the problem. If we suppose for a moment that we didn't invent UAPs, nor is it some existing technology applied in a new and different way, then we are left with only one conclusion: someone else invented them. This brings us back to the idea that UAPs and UFOs must be the invention of someone other than humans. That would mean then that there are aliens. They are visiting us. They are manufacturing the crafts we often see but cannot reproduce. This is not an assumption based on all the relevant data collected over the years on UFOs and UAPs, radar data of solid objects, eyewitness encounters, photographs and film, and landings. The conclusion is sound. UAPs are real. They are a technology we cannot reproduce. There are unidentified aerial phenomena that is unusual and has been documented. For years, pilots have reported seeing bright flashes above thunderclouds. It wasn't lightning. That occurs from the ground to the air. This was above the clouds. Many reports were not believed or were regulated to the field of the paranormal. Then in 1994, the phenomenon was photographed by scientists. We now know that sprites, or electrical discharges above the clouds, do in fact exist. There is now a whole science that studies them. There's nothing paranormal about sprites. They exist and have been recorded many times. It's the same with ball lightning. For years, that phenomenon was considered unreal. Now we know it is very real and happens infrequently. In fact, ball lightning has been used many times to try and explain away UAPs and UFOs. So, science still considers that UAPs could be some unknown and so far not recorded or studied atmospheric phenomenon. Though that is possible, it's unlikely an atmospheric phenomenon could produce a solid object or make the object maneuver in a way that defies physical science. However, since scientists have been proven wrong before, they remain cautious. Which brings us back to the discussion of aliens. Science needs fact and hard evidence to make a conclusion, so they avoid the alien theory until such time that they have an alien to examine or a flying saucer to study. Some say this has already happened, but those studies were conducted in secret, and therefore any results from those studies remains a mystery. Today, we have two similar studies: ufology, the study of UFOs, which leads more towards flying saucers and aliens, and now upology, the study of UAPs, which includes atmospheric disturbances and the possibility that some UAPs may be alien or foreign technology. The government and the military are actively engaged in the study of UAPology. It's no longer a secret. In fact, the military files a report to Congress every 6 months. The study of UAPs has been accepted by science, and they're open to the notion that some of the reported phenomenon could be alien, though they remain skeptical. Now, this is a major change in the acceptance of extraterrestrial life, and that some of that life may be visiting Earth. Scientists today believe that extraterrestrial life will be discovered and proven within a couple of decades. This will likely come in the form of microscopic organisms living on another world. But if it is proven that life does exist outside of our planet, then that means it exists throughout the galaxy and could even have evolved into a sentient and inventive species. It will prove that aliens most likely exist, at least to the scientists. Once this is accepted, then the study of aliens will not be far behind. Life on other worlds equals life of all kinds everywhere, even intelligent aliens. After all, we are alive and we are intelligent. The question will no longer be, do aliens exist? It will be, do they have the capability to travel across space and visit us? If UAPs are from another planet, then based on their technology, they probably are. UAPs can not only fly, they can also submerge. In fact, most UFO and UAP sightings are near bodies of water. UAPs have been discovered in space, in the air, and underwater. This ability suggests they could travel from one solar system to another with ease. If they have conquered the barrier of inertia and deflection, then speed would be the next physical factor they would need to travel the galaxy. UAPs have been observed traveling fast, darting about, and even appearing to disappear. Speed does not seem to be a problem for them, though no one has ever seen one warp space or travel at light speed. Having the technology they appear to have, they may be capable of creating a wormhole or some other technology to travel faster than light. This is something we would need to ask them if we ever meet aliens officially. How did you get here? We know they have advanced observable technology. So what other technologies could the occupants of the UAPs have? If UAPs are extraterrestrial, and they appear to be so, then we can logically assume they have other advancements in engineering and medical, as well as electronics. This, of course, is based on our own technologies that have advanced parallel to our flight and travel capabilities. To build craft that can do what UAPs do, they would have to be very advanced, far beyond us. What we consider to be theory may be practical science to them. One question that often arises when you delve into the study of UAP aliens is, why don't they just land on the White House lawn and show themselves? Assuming they are more advanced than us and smarter than us, then they would see this scenario as foolish and dangerous. We are an aggressive species, and they would have to know this. Assuming a UAP did land on the White House lawn, it could trigger a major issue with other countries, maybe even war. The moment a UAP landed at our capital, it would be reported, and other nations may see this as an alliance with the aliens. Their question would be, what advanced technologies are they giving the Americans that they're not giving us? China, Russia, and all countries would be asking why the U.S. capital? Why not Moscow, Tehran, or Tiananmen Square? If we reverse this scenario, you can see the concern we would have if a UAP openly landed in Russia or China. We would go into full alert and watch the event closely. Our question would be, what are they sharing with the Chinese or Russians? Do they align themselves more with communism, so they landed there and not here? You can see where this event would trigger a lot of serious questions, and if either side does not believe the other, it could lead to an all-out war. We would not be favorable to see the Russians or Chinese advance way beyond us, and they would not want to see us advance well beyond them. Whichever nation on Earth that can duplicate the flight capabilities of UAPs will be in a position to rule the world. None of our conventional aircraft would be able to keep up with a UAP-type advanced craft. This leads us back to the serious concern our government takes when it comes to UAPs. It's why the Pentagon has vested time and effort to study them. We want to be the first to figure out how they can do what they do and duplicate it. So do all other nations as well. So we are in something of a UAP Cold War. All advanced nations on Earth have similar programs, and they too want to duplicate what UAPs can do. Whoever gets there first wins global domination. A UAP would be a formidable weapons platform. Imagine for a moment you have a craft that can fly through the air and easily take out our enemy's military jets, then submerge and take out their submarines, then fly into space and destroy their satellites. One ship could disable an enemy in one mission. That is a terrifying idea if one of our enemies had this kind of technology, and a huge boon for democracy if we had this ability. It's a game changer of huge proportions, and the Pentagon knows this. Since the now famous Roswell incident, where an alleged UAP crashed near Roswell, rumors have persisted that the U.S. government does in fact have that craft and debris from it. Roswell became famous in the 1980s, and today they celebrate July 4th with an alien-themed parade and events. The incident put this little town on the map. According to the legend, a UFO crashed outside of Roswell in 1947, and the parts and pieces of the ship were taken to the Roswell Army Air Base. Multiple witnesses have come forward to say they saw it or was privy to information about it. The case has been thoroughly investigated by ufologists, with multiple stories of just what happened. Suffice it to say, they all agree it was not of this earth. Flash forward to more recent times and the new moniker UAP, and you find that in February 2021, it was reported that the Pentagon slipped up and released information about such materials. The Pentagon, USA's Defense Department headquarters, have admitted to testing wreckage they gathered from UFO crashes, researcher and author Anthony Bragalia has said. Bragalia had written the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency as part of a Freedom of Information Act request over 3 years ago. The DIA let out a 154-page test result report regarding a mysterious memory metal called nitinol, which can remember its original shape when folded. This type of metal has been mentioned often in the Roswell story. The DIA said some of these futuristic materials have the potential to make things invisible. Although much of the report's details are redacted, what can be gleaned is that these technologies represent a literal quantum leap beyond the properties of all existing material known to man. Several mentions of advanced technology reports surrounding nitinol described as a shape recovery alloy. The nitinol had similar properties to the memory metal found near the Roswell, New Mexico UFO crash of 1947. The revealed documents have also said that the Pentagon was trying to test whether the metal nitinol could be integrated into the human body for health purposes. Robert Bigelow, the owner of Bigelow Aerospace, and has several contracts with the Pentagon and the government, has all but admitted his engineers have some debris from UAPs. He has spoken openly about the subject of UAPs and UFOs and has formed departments to study them. Bigelow Aerospace is just the kind of company the government would use to have material analyzed and evaluated. In 2008, Bigelow created Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, an offshoot of BA, whose purpose was to work with the government, mainly the Pentagon, on studying unidentified, unexplained phenomena, such as the effects of UFOs on the human body, while also developing experimental and top-secret technologies, related propulsion, and stealth. The investigations by the BAASS provided new lines of evidence showing that the UFO phenomenon was a lot more than just nuts and bolts machines that interacted with military aircraft, a senior manager for the program wrote in a statement to KLAS-TV in 2018. The phenomenon also involved diverse activity that included bizarre creatures, poltergeist activity, invisible entities, orbs of light, animal and human injuries, and much more. The exclusive focus on nuts and bolts machines could be considered myopic and unproductive in solving the larger mystery of UFOs. Philip James Corso served in the United States Army from February 1942 to March of 1963 and earned the rank of lieutenant colonel. Corso published his book, The Day After Roswell, in 1997, about his alleged involvement in the research of extraterrestrial technology recovered from the 1947 Roswell incident. After joining the Army in 1942, Corso served in Army intelligence in Europe. He was on the staff of President Eisenhower's National Security Council for 4 years, from 1953 to 1957. In 1961, he became chief of the Pentagon's Foreign Technology Desk in Army Research and Development, working under Lieutenant General Arthur Trudeau. In his book, Corso claims he stewarded extraterrestrial artifacts recovered from a crash near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. Corso says a covert government group was assembled under the leadership of Admiral Roscoe H. Hillenkotter, the first director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Among its tasks was to collect all information on off-planet technology. The U.S. administration simultaneously discounted the existence of flying saucers in the eyes of the public. According to Corso, the reverse engineering of these artifacts indirectly led to the development of accelerated particle beam devices, fiber optics, lasers, integrated circuit chips, and Kevlar material. In the book, Corso claims that the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, was meant to achieve the destructive capability of electronic guidance systems and incoming enemy warheads, as well as disabling those enemy spacecraft, including those of extraterrestrial origin. Corso died of a heart attack on July 16, 1998, a year later. Corso was a decorated military official and not likely to fabricate stories. He held high positions in the military and was in a position to know all about any debris recovered from a UAP. In fact, he would be one of the few people that had access to this kind of information. If there was ever any one military official you could bank on, Corso would be it. It's as if the ufology and UAPology communities are saturated with facts but can't seem to find the truth. Most in these communities appear to be waiting for the government to fess up. Nothing short of a government admission will do, and that may not be too far in the future. If you look at media leaks and outright admissions in the past few years, a new pattern of openness appears to be slowly emerging from the Pentagon, militaries, and the government. We may soon have an answer, or at least a non-denial from the government, that UAPs are in fact alien. Of course, when this happens, the media will pounce on the government and demand to know why this historic and earth-shattering information was not released earlier, something the government would like to avoid. So it appears they are placing new information in the public domain at a snail's pace, hopefully to offset the impact when they do fess up. All of these secret programs being made public is a way to soften the blow. Politicians are coming on board to support such a revelation, including past presidents, senators, and even military officials. They are no longer downplaying such an admission and appear to be actively promoting such ideas. President Clinton openly speaks on the subject and admits while president he tried to get to the bottom on the issue. President Obama also admits to looking into the subject, and President Trump was asked directly and admits to being briefed on the subject, though he was not convinced. Advisors to past presidents have also openly admitted to delving into the issue of UFOs and UAPs. Britain began releasing their UFO files years ago, and now China, Russia, and other countries appear to also be keeping the subject open. Russia has a similar program to our programs. Canadian officials have openly admitted to studying the subject, and they too are willing to entertain the extraterrestrial theory. It's as if all the arrows are pointing to aliens, but no one wants to be the first to say it's alien. Over the past few years, ufology groups and individuals have been working hard to get the government to release all information they have on UFOs and UAPs, and to disclose the existence of aliens, if indeed the government does know they do exist. There is a lobbyist in Washington working to press officials to disclose what they know about UAPs. His name is Steve Bassett. Dr. Stephen Greer is also working to disclose, and the newly formed To the Stars group is responsible for some of the leaks in recent years. Press conferences are also called when some new UAP information is released, and congressional committees get briefings on the subject now. We have moved into a new era with the change from UFO to UAP. With this limited openness that appears to be forming, and how sightings are reported often, they do not get the tongue-in-cheek laughter that the reporters used to give the subject. Finally, this issue is treated as a serious subject. One group that is not laughing is the Pentagon. Their task force is studying the subject in depth and generating a lot of interest in other areas of government. They're also being more open about what they find. But the Navy is not just concerned with UAPs. There is yet another type of UFO that only recently has garnered attention. And like UFO sightings, this one has been going on for a long time. This is the subject of USOs. A USO is an unidentified submerged object. Naval ships, submarines, and aircraft have spotted UAPs not only flying, but also entering the water and traveling submerged. Investigators have claimed leaked photographs taken by the U.S. Navy show UFOs hovering over the Atlantic Ocean. Researchers believe the black and white images were taken from the USS Trepang, SSN 674 submarine in March of 1971 and show evidence of UAPs. The pictures are said to have been taken from the U.S. submarine on its journey between Iceland and islands off the coast of Norway. One report logged in April of 2019 states that an object resembling a small white boat flew up out of the water near Imperial Beach, California at about 500 feet. The object promptly flew south at a very high rate of speed. In 1973, the USS Wasp, an anti-submarine vessel, tracked a USO for days during an exercise. The object was capable of moving at high speeds under the surface. A sonar operator on one of the destroyers reported to his bridge that one of the submarines had broken formation and gone off in what appeared to be pursuit of some unknown object. The operator did not, of course, know if this was a plant, since the maneuvers they were engaged in were exercises designed to train personnel in detection of enemy craft. However, this operator's report was not all within the limits of any such simulation. The troubling thing about this USO was that the object was traveling at over 150 knots. Due to the nature of UAPs and the recent reports of them where one can be seen on video disappearing into the water, the subject of USOs has been brought to the forefront of the issue. In the footage shared by filmmaker and UFO enthusiast Jerry Corbell, a flying object can be seen disappearing into the water off California. According to Corbell, the footage was filmed by the U.S. Navy off San Diego's coast in July of 2019. A dark, saucer-like object can be seen hovering above the ocean. In the video, military personnel can be heard saying it splashed. Soon after, the object disappears into the ocean. The Navy has confirmed the footage is authentic and was shot by Navy personnel. UFOs, UAPs, and USOs are a troubling mystery for the Pentagon. To them, these craft represent a danger or threat if they have weapons or could carry weapons. One ship with these capabilities could outmaneuver and evade every type of weapon system we have. Recently, they have been getting a little too close to our Navy ships. Could this be by design? Is it possible the aliens in the ships are trying to push the issue, make us take a closer look, or maybe they're trying to see how we would react if one of their ships did attempt to land and open a dialogue with us? For all the wishful thinking we have that the government will one day come clean and disclose the existence of aliens to us, we are forgetting one important factor: the aliens themselves. If UAPs are built and flown by aliens, then they can disclose their existence to us at any time. So why hasn't this happened? There could be a number of reasons. Perhaps they're not ready, or they think we're not ready for full disclosure. They may fear such a revelation would trigger panic among us or change us in a significant way. If the UAPs are studying us, then disclosure would change us and therefore change their study of us. Our reaction to them could change our perspective. They may fear us. After all, mankind has a long history of atrocities and war. Or it could be that they simply don't care. We think of ourselves as a diverse and unique species and worthy of attention. They may not agree. Sure, it's a blow to our collective egos that aliens would not find us fascinating, but the truth may be that simple. Or we may be part of some elaborate experiment they are conducting, and they don't care about us, but do care about our genetics for using us for their needs. If it's a social experiment, then they would leave us alone so as not to contaminate the exercise. If they want us for our genetic makeup or some other purpose, then again they would leave us in our natural habitat. Alien abductees have claimed for decades that this is why they are here, to take our genetic material and to breed hybrids, a mix of them and us. The truth is, we simply do not know what their agenda is, and whatever it is, it may have nothing to do with us. They may only be interested in the Earth itself, or something natural to our planet. It could be our water, which isn't frozen like water in space. It could be geologic, or the flora and fauna of our world. We may simply be one more species to catalog, along with the millions of other life forms on our world. For whatever reason they come here, they don't appear to want to share. If they have some sinister agenda, they have had plenty of time to harm us, which, with their abilities, could be the reason. We could be some ongoing and long-term experiment that takes decades, even centuries, to accomplish. For whatever reason they are here, there is one indisputable fact. They seem to have some purpose for being here. They come here quite often and are observed, photographed, caught on radar, and often leave traces when they land. UAPs are real and have been around for a very long time. We may never know why they are here, so scientists are focusing on how they are here, the actual nuts and bolts of the craft, and what kind of advanced propulsion systems are they using. Our problem so far is that we can only observe these craft, and based on observation we know they are not using any known propulsion systems that we use. If the government or military have an actual craft to study, then they may be further along understanding them than the public knows. We may not be able to reproduce a UAP's propulsion system, but we may know how it works. Understanding how something works and being able to mass produce it are two very different things. It's also possible that their propulsion system contains a vital component that can't be reproduced on Earth, or the necessary materials don't exist here. That would prevent us from using their technology. We may fully understand it, but we don't have what it takes to make one. Plus, we don't want any other nation to know how it works, because their scientists may discover a workaround and be able to simulate their engines without those components. So it's being kept a tightly guarded secret. During World War II, both the US and Germans were working on building an atomic bomb. The Germans were almost as far along to making one as we were. We got there first and ended a bloody war with it. That one invention changed the course of history. Whoever is able to get a UAP-type engine to work will change history as well and redirect the course of our technology. Other inventions will emerge from this one discovery. It will change everything. Just as integrated circuits and chips changed and reformed our technology today, this new propulsion system will generate breakthroughs and changes in all technologies we currently use. The nation that gets there first and can manufacture UAPs will rule not only the world, but space as well. Humans will leap into a new future, and in time, everything will change due to it. That flying car you were promised as a kid, you may get it. Right now, the secrecy lid is still slammed shut on UFOs, UAPs, and USOs, but it may not be shut for long. As more agencies take notice and start taking the subject seriously, we're already seeing changes. Scientists no longer ask if UFOs are real. They're now asking, how do they fly and who is flying them? We have reached a level of acceptance. The next step is to deal with it. If the military or the government is holding back what they know, then it won't be long before the public and science begins to demand they disclose. We're standing on the threshold of a paradigm shift, a point in time where everything changes. You and I will be alive to see this happen. Our children will benefit from it, and we as a species will have advanced further, perhaps as far as the aliens themselves. One day soon, we may wake up to the news that we are not alone.